If anybody wants. We'll talk to the Doge people about how you erase stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, right. Elon, where are you?
We're live? All right, we are live. Anybody want to do anything special since we're live? Okay, 50 whatever, 6. We start the meeting. Yep, 5:06. Okay, first of all, we have to have a motion to excuse Joanne. Who wants to make that? Okay, and seconded by Reese. All in favor? Okay, Joanne, you're out. And the agenda, I guess we can confirm the agenda. Who wants to do that? Ari? Good man. Okay, seconded by Ann, all in favor? Anybody want to add anything to it? I guess I should have said that first, but
I think just about the NWMO meeting, but we can talk about it when we get to it. I have like a edit of how to move forward with that.
right, well, yeah, that's not changing to the agenda. This, yeah, okay. Okay, no delegations or presentations.
Minutes, did you approve the minutes?
Oh, the minutes, very good. Oh, there are two things that I wanted to suggest you
Yeah.
make changes on. One was, it's the maple leaf, you omitted maple leaf from the stickers that are on the shelves at the Fresh
Okay.
Market.
Yeah.
Yeah, insert leaf. And the other thing was in the area of, I think it was the one where we talked about reducing waste or whatever. There was something you wrote down and quoted me as saying, but it's not quite accurate. Do you want to pull that up? Maybe you can.
Are we in the minutes now?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, can you pull up, because we should just take a look.
Yeah, I think it's
Down here,
I
right?
think it's reducing, because that was when we talked about reuse and uh, okay, waste reduction.
For the maple sign,
Yeah, maple leaf sign.
small sign, maple leaf.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't take maple leaf sign.
Yeah.
Okay, and in this one, and you're quoting me as saying refusing, and I forget the word you used, but it certainly wasn't what I said.
reuse.
Oh, repeating. Okay, importance of, see,
Reading, yeah.
okay, so I would say that we should have,
Reducing.
reducing, yeah, so, you can switch the order if you want, but reducing, reusing, and repairing. You see the line we're talking about?
Yeah, so here, right? Reducing,
So reducing, reusing, and repairing. The other two words are all right, but
Just put reducing in there instead of repeating.
yeah, exactly. Take that one out and put reducing.
Yeah.
Okay,
and Joyce, do you want to make any changes in this one?
No, no,
okay, so now with those little wee changes, who wants to approve the minutes? And seconded by Reese, all in favor? Okay. Action items. Okay, that one's on hold because we're waiting to see what
Jenny.
Jennifer,
Jennifer comes up, right? Shipping wood, I think, Jody, you talked about that the last meeting that you were at, saying that the council's looking at it, but there's no action yet.
No, we're still working with Public Works to get some idea on pricing, time expected to ship and things.
Okay, so, all right, so that one's on hold until Jody has more information. Joanne's not here to talk about the greenhouse. Anybody else know anything about selling the greenhouse?
no,
No offers? Okay. So we'll put that on hold until we sell it. Blue community. Was,
Fortunately, I've got some bad news regarding the Blue Community.
they don't know.
I did some more did some kind of thorough research this week, and we aren't eligible to be a Blue Community. Because we use the services of NWMO,
Oh, it's a
Northern Waterworks to
Right.
run our plants, even though we own them, they run them, so it's not a publicly operated water and sewer system. As well, we have a policy where, an arrears policy where your water will get disconnected if, you know, you don't pay your bill for a certain amount of months.
And so it's
Two things we can't be considered unless those get changed, then we can always bring something.
like, when I talked to them, they said that we're using taxpayers' money to contract out. And so that would make us eligible because we're still using public money for that. But cutting the water off could be a problem
Yeah.
because we have to.
And the fact, I mean, when I read it, a private company runs the water or wastewater treatment plant. And it says that we're not eligible, but.
You know, I mean, I explained to her when I was communicating with them that
Yeah,
this is what we do. We're a small community. We can't afford to have these professionals on staff. And she said, you're using public money, you're using taxpayers' dollars to provide this service. And yeah, therefore you are eligible, but I can see we're cutting the water off. Might
yeah.
Is it water, is it 3 months?
I'm not sure. I was looking at the policy today, but when I talked to Carly about it. So like middle of winter, they cut the water off
Yeah,
until, like, you know, it warms up, so there's no risk of freezing, yeah.
yeah.
So summertime, I think it's just 2 or 3 months, and then winter time. It would be longer just for the fact we want water to freeze.
Okay, all right, so I guess that one is done then. We can't become a blue community.
That one, I still have not. Maybe Jody, you could make a little behind the scenes thing, because Chris said, you know, he had issues, family issues and that sort of thing. But then there was something about, I don't know, I mean, we're never gonna get new members if we don't advertise for them. So, you know, even if, like he said something about, or maybe something about the website, the terms of reference weren't current or they weren't coming up or something like that. But, you know, I mean, if, even if it was advertised, you want to be on the thing, if, you know, the terms of reference can be accessed, boom, by
Yeah.
calling the town. I mean, we need to be trying to get new members, so. Before we all retire.
Okay, annual work plan and budget, here we go. So the work plan, the curbside swap. Any, now that you're here, any updates, curbside swap?
Yeah, I'm gathering stuff.
Yeah, okay, it's the same status quo, it's
New signs or?
you wanna invite that discussion again?
We have 2,500 people on the
Yeah.
Facebook at least.
That's probably, I mean, we can just set that one aside, I think, because we have had discussions about that and the
Yeah.
pros and cons about the signs and various ideas, but I'm not sure that the signs are the key advertising.
What if we do a sign under the Chamber of Commerce sign? One of those inserts. It says curbside swap this Saturday.
Across the beach?
No, the one when you're entering town before the roundabout, the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah,
Some poor person has to go through the ditch to put that sign up. I always feel sorry for the
I feel
person.
like we could have one that just says like curbside swap every Saturday during the summer.
yeah, I think, I mean, that sign's so busy, who's gonna see it anyway, but I mean, you know, I mean, it's probably not that expensive just to do that, but I'm just thinking when people are driving by that they don't look at all those different things.
I do, but yeah, I think.
Put a flashing, maybe we'll get one with those flashing yellow
On the water tower.
on the water tower.
New one.
Okay, we'll just put that on hold if it's okay, Reese. I don't, yeah.
Okay, I just have a little tidbit here. I was talking to Tyler today and he is almost ready to start his composting, limited composting option. You know, it's not as big as he wanted, but so I guess there'll be more information from that, so.
Okay.
Might be buying more lettuce from him because most of our lettuce is United States.
You can get romaine that's Canadian, that's it. I'm not buying anything, an apple and nothing.
No. I was thinking about him today. There was a guy on, I don't know what it was, morning program or something, about, he says it's vertical farming.
Yeah, I heard
Did you
that.
hear that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
70 million to start one up.
Isn't that what Agritech is doing? That's their vertical farming?
I think
Yeah.
so. I think, there's pros and cons to that. I mean, did you hear the woman who said, you know, that, like, we can't be growing all of our vegetables, and this is right now, it's an exclusive thing where people can afford to pay. Because I think the person said, was it 30 or 40% higher, or
Okay.
more expensive than other lettuce?
But the more it's done and the more people
Yeah.
are buying it, the cheaper it'll get.
We've become addicted to lettuce. You know that there's a lot more vitamins in cabbage, by the way. This is grown in Canada.
Okay.
That's- Cabbage is American too in the
No,
store.
that's in Manitoba.
In the grocery stores,
Is
it
it-
says
is it-
US.
Is it US? Oh, it used to be Manitoba.
Carrots, you can buy carrots, potatoes. Anyway,
Okay, I didn't realize that because I know that yeah, never mind. I won't go on with that. Okay, communication and education. Nothing new on that front, I don't think.
I would like to talk about the communication when we come to the waste management thing.
Okay. All right, next. Community garden, yeah, discuss anything there.
Joanne has been pushing for the seniors to get a garden, like to get plots. She was, pushing for that. So I think people are interested from the senior center to go and do
Oh, really?
plots.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's good. Because a lot of them probably, well, depending where they're living now, but if they're living in Sioux Towers or maybe when they had their own homes, they had gardens, probably.
Yeah.
Some of them.
So
Okay, Jody, anything new on the municipal projects horizon here?
Actually, something's come about this week. We're gonna start working with this company to apply for funding through FCN, Federation of Canadian Municipalities, to do some energy monitoring at one of our buildings, like the arena, because it's our most, high energy use building. Involves sensor installation just to track electrical usage and like pretty much all the components of the building. And then they provide through this process, they provide this customized energy savings plan. And one of the things they can do as it's real-time data, the energy you're using can help potentially predict when something's gonna fail, or do you see certain things happening? And I could say, okay, that we have an issue with this motor or this whatever. So hopefully we get the funding for that. Or just to do a building scan, they go through this whole 3D rendering of the building.
So this would be federal funding, provincial funding?
It's through Federation of Canadian Municipalities, so I'm hoping some kind of.
Yeah, that must be federal, yeah. Are there any grants or any funding for, say, for example, you found that you were spending a lot more money on electricity because of heat loss or something like that? Is there any kind of funding available out there now these days?
So I believe there is, and Andrew Cullen and myself have been looking into it. But the issue is we don't have any energy auditors, testers in the area. I think the closest is like Thunder Bay. So the cost to get them to come to Sioux to perform this audit of your house or whatever it is,
Mhm.
it outweighs the advantage of, applying for this funding to update to like an air-to-air heat exchanger or, adding windows or something. So we're actually looking to get this training in-house and potentially offer that as a service.
well, that would be.
Oh, for municipal
Yeah,
residents,
so
so
that
people,
people could come and there might be a fee associated with it, but it wouldn't be
yeah,
nearly as much as it would be to bring someone in from out of town. So then people can take advantage of these kind of provincial federal grants.
Right, yeah, I know my son was looking into it, and there was, I had it done when people from Thunder Bay came here, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure it's not happening anymore, people, but they don't have anybody from Thunder Bay coming.
I'm not sure. I just know that's been one of the people have asked about, and that was the biggest issue, was getting someone to come here and the costs associated with getting them here.
Well, I think there was some kind of a, if you get this home audit for your energy and then you make these changes, you get a certain
Yeah.
$5,000 or something like that. And I remember applying for it and they said, nope, there's nobody in your area. Too bad. So
Oh, yeah, it must have been after I did, because I got my windows set, reduced, they gave me a reduction for putting in the triple pane windows, yeah. So just quickly, is there anything possible, like regarding you talk about heat exchangers, right? So we're pulling heat out of the water on the surface of to create ice. And then where does that heat go?
Oh, so we do, so you're right, we have a lot of excess heat in our ice plant. We do use some of it for the snow melt area, like in the Zamboni room, they just dump snow into a pit. And that heat is heated through the ice plant.
Mhm.
But that's something we have looked at, it costs quite a bit to get an exchanger, basically to take that heat and utilize it for something, whether it's heating the building or heating the hot water. One of the hiccups there is it's an unknown. The council's really got to make the decision, are we gonna live with this building for the next 30 years?
Yeah,
And make these upgrades, spend the money, or are we gonna limit what we're doing, and it's taken a little while, they still haven't really,
yeah,
made that decision, what the plan is. And I think with this tourism study and a few studies they're doing, that, this pool study, I think that we just did, I think they just, well, Doolittle was just at council there last time, so that,
Yeah, and then council approved to receive it.
yes.
So I think that's the.
And to carry on, yeah.
We really should make that decision, because exactly, there are opportunities there. We did look at it in the past, so 250,000 just for the system to convert that. heat.
right, yeah, so this building may not be used anymore for those purposes.
Yeah, and if we're planning to get a new building in 10 years, then maybe we don't. If it's 30, 40 years, then we gotta put some.
Yeah, that's one of the questions that I'd ask is how much are we anticipating putting into it in the next 20 years?
Yeah,
You know,
it's a hard question, yeah.
if you're gonna be putting in the amount that it would cost to get a new one.
Let's get a new one, yeah.
I mean, you could, the issue of that building, there just isn't enough space.
Mhm.
There's no proper accessible access. to
Yeah.
the arena. And even just the corridors in the arena, if there ever was an emergency, it could be pretty bad, because there's areas where you can only fit one person.
Was it built, when was it built?
I think the 50s. And then the dressing rooms are added on in like the early 80s, late 70s.
And the gym was added in the 80s.
That's late, yeah, mid to late 80s.
Okay, we can move on from that then. Okay, we're probably still not getting any,
Thing from
anybody,
Fresh Market or nobody, I put it out on Facebook about, do you know anybody? And nobody's responded.
We've exhausted our,
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of people that are doing things to make change,
yeah,
even if
we could
it's
find them.
Small.
repairing or, that kind of thing. It's just maybe they don't want to be recognized, so.
all right, climate action plan, that's the one we're waiting for from Jennifer. So we can move on from that. Nothing,
Hand sanitizer.
locally sourced food, I guess the only update is that well, that's the composting, different.
Yeah, and I think that Tyler is expanding his farm. I can't believe what he does on that little plot of land, but anyway, he's pretty well the only locally sourced one we've got, so.
Where is he located exactly? I'm gonna give him a call.
He's in,
So you take the first driveway, the back road,
after you turn to Third Avenue from King Street or coming from Alcona.
It's on Queen, isn't it?
His house faces Queen, but his
The-
farm is in the back.
Yeah, it's
lane.
between Third and Second.
Oh, okay.
I think when you drive towards the north, like when the three-way stop from Bingwell, it's the first right. And it's gonna be like the fourth house.
Yeah.
He-
He's got a
got phone
sign.
and stuff back to back.
Hmm.
He has a sign.
Yeah.
Has anybody been to the actual place in Dryden that you were talking about?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have, yeah.
And it's one of these, what do they call them?
Vertical.
Vertical farms? Okay. And but they got some funding for that.
Oh, they got lots of funding, grants, and they
Yeah.
went on, what do you call that show where the
Dragon's Den?
Dragon's Den, they got money from that. And
Mhm.
they've just made a big addition and they're gonna do strawberries and all that kind of stuff. But I love their lettuce, but you can't get it because it's just, I think more local people are buying it, so why would they bother bringing it up here, or they're doing restaurants and stuff too, so.
The person that was, I think, the first person they talked to on the radio today said 70 million for startup, just for the structure. And then he was asked how much electricity, and he said the electricity that you would use for 4 houses. So it's not, that's the one thing they're talking about is you use a lot of electricity. The water is recycled apparently. But then later on in the show, there are these entrepreneurs from Winkler, Manitoba, who are selling these, they're like what do you call those containers, those sea cans? What are we calling those guys?
Sea can?
Well, the
Big-
shipping container, there you go. They're like a shipping container, but they have the whole vertical
Farm right in.
farming right in it, and they send it to places in the north, like they have one in the Yukon, and it's set up so that it can provide for a local community, not to send lettuce off at other places. But they're saying they're making, they said it costs 250,000 for their unit. And then, but now they're saying they have agreed to partially fund those so that when you start becoming operational, they'll take so much percentage of the profit to pay back that loan that they made. So,
I know that, Agritech is trying very hard to stay with the prices of the grocery store. So like, I know the lettuce that I would buy was $4.50 a head, and it's just wonderful. And it's just huge, and I can't get it anymore.
based on what I heard, they're probably subsidizing that somehow to make it equivalent.
But they carry a lot of stuff. They carry all kinds of locally sourced meats, they carry cheeses, they carry breads, garlic bread. There's I don't know, it's called a zombie bread or something like that.
So that's all.
Dracula
same
bread.
place?
It's all in the same.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
They have a storefront, like you go there and they'll take you on a tour.
We'll have to check it out sometime.
Where is it?
Where's that?
It's
It's like where, the way I've gone to it is that when you're getting out of town, there's the overpass.
and then that one lane, like,
It's a very awkward,
It is.
it's very awkward to get to both. When you're going straight, you go on that overpass and then you go right to go to Sioux, go on the highway. It's the left of the overpass. It's like a very awkward, every time I go there, I'm gonna get into an accident.
it's,
That's like,
when you're coming over the overpass and you look down, you'll see this building.
Yeah,
That's it,
On
but
your
you
left.
can't.
On the left-hand side.
Yeah, but you have to go down another street, turn
get
around,
there.
come back.
Yeah.
Because then to come out, there's a one way to
yeah,
go.
it's very
So,
awkward.
yeah.
Hmm.
Here
But I
where
mean,
the propane's place used to be, or near there? As appropriate.
This, it used to be a school board building. That's what it was.
Oh,
And,
Must
but
be-
yeah, there is the. Well,
Okay, I know it
no,
is.
yeah. Anyway, it's very
Okay.
interesting store.
yeah. Okay, let's move on here then. Introduction, okay.
Okay, this is where I would like to talk about the data that Jody was able to get for us. And I noticed that last year, not this 2024, but 2023 was the lowest amount of poundage or kilograms or whatever. And that was the year that we had no idea when it was going to happen. All of a sudden, it was like, okay, it was like, here you go, it's happening this Saturday. And
Yeah.
people didn't have that, you
Yeah,
know, I mean, I was in Winnipeg, so,
yeah,
you know, so I think the education piece is really important and to remind people to save it and that kind of thing, but it's
yeah.
how to do that.
Yeah.
It's-
I think the other thing that I noticed too is that I don't think it was accurate in the comments we made last time, the saying that it has become lower. The only time that the poundage has been higher was the first year. Every other year, this year was like 6,000 whatever, and every other year is under 6,000. So it's not like it's declining over the years that I see. See, I mean, it's like 2 years ago, it was what, 5,000? Is that what I'm looking at?
But between 145 and 180 participants, you know,
That's
I-
really low.
I know that talking to a person at the landfill, they weren't supposed to stockpile paint cans, but they were for this particular thing. So all those paint cans wouldn't have been people coming, right? It would have been,
Yeah,
so, but it would have been included in the weight. I just think it's important that somehow we let people know that, you know, save your stuff till the fall, right?
Mhm.
It's gonna happen
Should you write a
sometime,
little article in the community corner or something?
but it has to be in a time, like it has to be early enough.
It has to be like continuous, that people still know
Yeah.
June, July, August, save it.
Like you're doing your painting or your whatever, if you can. I mean, if you can, I'm sure if you're in an apartment building, but maybe there's a place that it could be.
Yeah.
I don't,
Well, even if we could put up like even like a little billboard, that's probably way too much money, going into the landfill that just says hazardous waste, keep it on you.
might be a little late for that.
We do something on Facebook, just, you
well,
know,
we do, but
but you know, not now. Remind people to keep it.
yeah.
You're great at
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And then share it.
Coming up with a reminder that, as you say, Reese, it's got to be monthly, continuously.
Okay, let's do it then.
How?
We'll have it on Facebook all the time.
Yeah.
You know, okay.
Facebook, yeah, but
Yeah.
Facebook probably a piece of the puzzle, but it has to be other pieces. Like a sign that people see every day. That's like, do not,
Like when they did do
yeah.
they put up a sign right like by Moscato's Marina there, you know, hazardous waste. Well, like, could we? Of course, then people are gonna say, when is it? You know, like, you know,
Mhm.
but yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think the way they used to do it was the best way, but they don't want to do that anymore. You used to be able to bring your cans out and they put them in a pile. You brought your used oil, they put it, do they still
I
take
think
oil?
they still collect the oil.
They collect the oil, but, and why can't we have like, we've got the electronic waste? Why don't we have a separate,
Hazardous.
hazardous waste? So,
The buildings on the right side there where the hazardous waste comes.
yeah, on the right hand side, that's where you used to put your kitty cans, right? And then there were other things, I'm trying, batteries, they used to take batteries. Paint cans,
Probably volume because
what?
they don't come every month the way they do with the electronic. The hazardous waste people only come once a year.
I know, but it was stockpiled at the dump and then they could just go and pick it up there.
Yeah.
You know, but it's, I guess my issue is the room at the dump, or fix.
Well, plus the fact
Um,
that not everybody goes to the landfill, right? So
Yeah.
there'd have to be another
Yeah,
place for it. What do they do in Kenora? Cause I know that they have, you can take your hazardous waste all year long.
Has a transfer station, not a landfill. So it was always go to the transfer station, dump your garbage, dump whatever you want, and then the city brought that over to Winnipeg. Like Winnipeg was the dump.
So they don't have a landfill?
Like they do now, supposedly. I don't know when that happened. But I think that, Kenora was also like Kenora, Jeffrey Malik, something like that's the now you're one big city now, right? So I think Jeffrey Malik or one of the other country communities had a landfill, but not the city. Because remember growing up, it was always the city brought your garbage to the transfer station. The transfer station was just one big truck. You put all your garbage in there, and it would haul it off to Winnipeg or Manitoba somewhere. But now supposedly they have a landfill, but
So is it, I'm looking at you, Jody, because you might have the answer to this. Is it regulations about storage and, if you have batteries, they might leak, or you have paint, it might leak, and you have to have. Yeah,
There are certain rules and regs around that stuff.
yeah.
I guess up into specifics.
right, that would be good if you could. That'd be great.
My question too is that like in my property, I think I have 3 just abandoned barrels. I don't know what they were filled with, but they've been there since I moved there. Can I bring that to the dump? I think they're,
Just open it and dump it on the ground.
yeah, I think yeah. But make sure it's away from my house.
Burger to Dryden, they throw all kinds of things in the river there now.
Yeah.
Are they full? Like, do you think?
No, they've been rusted, all empty.
If they're empty, yeah, you can just bring them.
Yeah, okay, there's no, is that hazardous waste or that's just,
If they're empty, it's hard to, I mean,
Probably metal.
yeah,
yeah, just put it in the metal box.
okay. I don't know.
If it was half full.
It's one of those things I just thought ignorance is bliss. I'm just pretend I didn't see it and just be like, oh, there's barrels. Of oil, I believe you. And that.
All right. Okay, so have we,
It's my, just.
yeah, I think maybe if Jody can come up with, some idea about whether or not there's some changes at the landfill that could accommodate people dropping off, because I think it's most convenient for people to drop it off at the landfill. I don't think there are a lot of people that save it in their sheds or whatever, like I do. Or whatever.
You.
I do, yeah, you do, we all do, and
that's just, I think just keep reminding people, because people may not know, or, I don't know.
what do you mean, people, your
We had
friends?
the
Keep
list of
reminding.
hazardous waste. I
Yeah.
mean, we can repurpose that list, could go back on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
start that and then,
Cause it's getting to spring and people are gonna start doing stuff and,
Yeah.
We talked, I'm not sure if this was the topic we were talking about, but we talked about sending a flyer home with the tax.
now the taxes,
The
everything.
taxes are all online.
Yeah.
Charge everyone $3 to do it.
All right, okay, we'll move on here, well,
Paid for the recycling one, was that, Recycle Ontario or something, or the one that we got in May?
Yeah, B&M. Something, yeah, the recycling provider.
oh,
Okay, cause I questioned that. There were some things like, give it a quick rinse. Well, if it's dog food or something, a quick
Mm.
rinse isn't a quick rinse. But anyway, that's okay.
what's their problem? That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
well, they do sterilize all the stuff, I would presume, do they?
They don't sterilize it, I don't think sterilize is the right word, but.
If they're reusing it, they'd have to
Well,
get,
yeah, I know, but they don't reuse it.
Hmm?
What are they reusing?
like, you're talking about.
Recycling.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's
rinse it out.
reusing, that's not recycling.
You're talking about recycling?
Recycling.
Yeah, recycling, yeah. So they say rinse it out.
Okay, but I'm not sure when you say reuse it.
So then they
No.
take it
They
somewhere.
melt it down
Yeah.
to
Yeah, but
metal
they would
again.
have to take out any of the food or whatever that might be,
No, then it
I'm
would
just saying that-
go to the landfill. It would just.
Yeah, they don't, if it's,
A friend of mine works at the Blind River, a recycling plant. They just if it's dirty, they just throw it out. That's literally his job is to sort through all the recycling, and he just says half of it is just thrown out.
So you really have to do more than just
Yeah.
rinse it out. You should be doing it yourself.
Pizza boxes, it's cans that are filled moldy from the food. They just throw it out. There's
Hmm.
he's like, the only thing that can get actually recycled has to be clean. You know what I mean? It has, yeah.
So just rinsing it out isn't enough.
Yeah, well, if it's properly mixed up, 'cause it's all,
Yeah.
let's say you have dog food, when it starts all moldy and disgusting, they're not gonna touch it, they're just gonna throw it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cause I thought that they had some mechanism when they take it in,
that would probably be some Toronto or something. you know. I don't think it's.
No, they don't have anything like that.
yeah, it's just people, it's literally like a conveyor belt that's going through everything. That's garbage, that's garbage, that's garbage. Oh, it's a dirty, that's garbage. Oh, somebody spilled chocolate milk all over this bag, the whole bag's garbage now.
I mean, if it's got food in it, it's tainted and it's gone, right?
Yeah.
So.
Hmm.
I'm so anal about my stuff.
yeah, I put mine in the
Goes through the
dishwasher.
dishwasher.
My dog food cans are spick and span and clean. Anyway, let's move on. Litter
Okay,
strategy.
now that, have you guys got that done yet?
No, no.
No, I think what we need to do is that we also need to have like, not like a green team, but a designated person from every organization in town that, you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
when we have, because I think right now what everyone does, I think everyone's waiting for someone to take the first step for cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all have to work together and say, maybe we can clean up every 2 months, or, you know what I mean? Like every so often. So I think having a designated person in every organization, so we can all work together easily.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a person from the town, person from, you know, Wendigo, a person from Slipna, a person from, you know, the high school,
Mhm.
the public school. It's big. Okay, everybody, let's have a cleanup Friday, May the 2nd. I'm just throwing the date out there, right? So we all know what's going on, kind of thing.
So you and I are tasked with doing this. How do we do it? Where do we start?
Well,
The
we're,
thing is, it's one thing to clean up, it's another thing to promote not littering.
Yeah.
Well.
yeah, you're saying that education. Yeah,
Carrot, stick.
well, a stick doesn't work.
I mean, we are spending 15,000 on new garbage bins, Canadian garbage bins, so hopefully that might help something. Has there been any word on that?
I'm not sure.
There's no, yeah. Would that be with Jen Esposito?
No, that would be with Meredith Colin down there.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
So where would what would be the easiest way to get a list of all the businesses and organizations that need to be contacted?
Chamber would be a good one.
Would the chamber be a good one?
Chamber,
Because
and then
people,
they may not have like the health authority, you know, but we could just add the big, you know, the big employers in town.
Yeah,
Hospital, health authority, Tikanagan.
I didn't just send in a quick email being like, would you be able to designate one person to be on this kind of informal, no scheduled meetings, just an email group that we can all work together on
Mhm.
a municipal wide cleanup strategy, so that we're all on the same page, because that person can maybe go back to the boss or something.
okay, so if we got a list, then I said I'd sit on this committee as well, then we could just divvy up who contacts whom and go from there.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Did we have a separate little meeting about this?
Little, yeah,
Guys and.
we don't have that, like a,
Sure.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you guys are busier than I am. Figure out a time and work for you, and I'll see if I can accommodate that.
Okay.
Are you back at work yet?
I'm back at work next week.
6 weeks already?
No, just a month.
3 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try to, on that one, before we proceed, I'll try to, if that's okay, I'll try to talk to my organization and maybe there's this wings building there. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
collaboration of Windigo, IFNA, and like a few other communities, like tribal councils. So there are students who might be interested in volunteering and
Mhm.
helping out with this.
Oh,
It's a good
the
idea.
Winks, okay, yeah.
That might be a good idea.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
let's
Yeah,
get you on our
it's-
working group, Harry. You should be on our working group.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's stuff, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
I'll have chat and send that information to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Rachel Wood still working there?
Rachel Butler, yeah,
Or Butler, sorry, no. Butler.
she said.
All right, I guess that's it for everything, no new business, so next
I
meeting.
guess the only, sorry, the only events would be the NWMO meeting.
Oh, right,
Yeah. So like, I was talking with this with Kamal earlier. I think Brian was saying with the updated email that this shouldn't be a municipally held event. So maybe I'm like, I really want to have a meeting with it, with the NWMO and then in the nuclear free north about maybe having a meeting at the Legion one day, talk about transportation. And it has to be we're only gonna talk about this issue because it could spiral out of control really easily, right? Maybe we can get them all together and just say, we're just gonna talk about transportation to, you know what I mean, other nuclear waste. Can this be done on just a private person's like, can I put this
Yeah,
on
I know.
as a private person? Not connected to the town or
Yeah,
anything?
absolutely.
And NW, like, I mean, it's gonna, if you want it at Legion, it's gonna cost a few bucks. I
Yeah.
assume that organization will pay for the
Yeah, that's a good idea.
peanuts compared.
Yeah, maybe I
money.
So, but I think just having, do you think that'd be a good idea to ask this committee, just to be like, can we reach out to both sides and be like, we're gonna have a conversation about transportation only. We're not gonna deviate from the agenda because that could spiral.
Well, the water table thing, people are, you know, not that.
There's no way
Turn-
you're gonna
turn.
be, well, I know some people who are gonna be there, so then who will not stick to the transportation because like,
Yeah,
Joyce is saying,
Earthquakes.
you've got the whole storage and the water table and that whole issue has, people
Mhm.
are concerned.
Well, maybe I'll come back to the next meeting with not like an agenda, but maybe an agenda of like transportation, yeah, water access.
Earthquakes.
And just like talk, just so that there's a clear agenda of like, okay, NDRMO, you're coming, because like, they're not gonna come just to be attacked, right? I think they're gonna come and they want to, you know what I mean, like be able to discuss freely, right?
mhm.
So maybe just be like, okay, we're gonna talk about, issue number one, these issues.
You know all the issues.
Yeah,
So I'm sure they've heard them all.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. Yeah, and
And Brian doesn't wanna, the municipality?
They should.
the update that we got, Brian, from the email that Kamal had, I think Brian was trying to say, yeah, right here. So, yeah,
Basically, yeah, the idea here is that you guys, I guess, were at some presentation and then that you could provide an update to the committee on what you guys were told.
yes, I guess remember Acadia and May basically just saying that the site of Ignace in Wetland Lake Observer Nation was selected. Moving forward, that, I think it was, which the site has been selected and, moving forward that, I remember there's a conversation about fly in, fly out. And that NWMO were dedicated that there are people going to be living in Ignace full time. And they said it's going to be a fly in, fly out project, but this is going to be that they want to have a foothold in the area for as long as possible. Like this isn't going to be want to fly in people for Ignace for 2 weeks, then slide them out. Like they're gonna that the expectation is these people are going to be living in the Western Ontario, people working on the site. Which that could help because I remember that was a question with the mayor of Nation was that I don't want you guys hiring people just to fly in, fly out. Like I want to make sure there's people who are getting paid big money are living spending money growing up in our community, which their guarantee to us was that they're expecting this to be, that they're gonna live in the area, you know what I mean? Like, that the careers that will be posted will be permanently located in a swap, like a good Nation area.
Interesting,
My,
interesting to see if they can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Can't do it here.
and I,
Have to try
I
anyway.
spoke to the person like earlier, I forget what her name was. I said, listen, back in the day, OPP built housing, the mines built housing, you know?
Yeah, they're gonna have
This, you know, this is
a recreation center and a pool and all that. That's what they're gonna have to do.
Housing, yeah.
Exactly.
Like, if people are, you know, that's how you're gonna get people back in, because back in the Pickle Lake was built by the mines. Red Lake was built by the mines, you know, Hudson was built by, you know, the mines. So like, you have to build housing, like corporations have to get that through their head. You have to build housing.
Yeah, if you wanna do
Get
that.
that industry.
Yeah.
But that's,
So that's, I mean, you're talking about a whole different focus here.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people want to know about the environmental risk. You're talking about economic development. And so I'm not sure that you can have a meeting that would, I mean, they've made all the promises. There's nothing else. A presentation on that issue is not going to help anything.
And the people of Silica could care
Yeah.
less
Care less.
whether or not they're gonna build houses in Ignace. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So.
No, we stick to the transportation and the
Yeah.
water table issue.
Yeah, those are the two
Basic-
basic issues.
Basic science, right? Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So what do we do now? I don't quite understand that response so much.
I don't think it should be the municipality because it's beyond the municipality's scope, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the municipality is no longer part of this.
That's right.
We never were.
No, but there was well, that's not true. Years ago, it was
Yeah.
like,
Should go.
yeah,
Yeah, but
Has to be part of that.
I think we had a presentation and.
Yeah.
But
but now
we never
it's,
really heard of it.
Pickering that time?
Sorry?
You and I and Dawn and
Yeah, we went to, yeah, that was, yeah,
they gave us a tour and gave us a little explanation of what they're doing.
yeah.
was that I think I went on that same tour last year, yeah, about the nuclear,
Learn more.
yeah,
That's right.
which, yeah, definitely learned a lot.
Yeah. But we've never really been involved because we have no decision making.
Yeah,
in
I'm
it.
so confused why Dryden is.
Pardon?
Dryden is involved. Dryden has a Learn More Center in downtown Dryden.
Well, the reality is, I mean, the location of the site's fairly close to Dryden. It's kind of midway between Dryden.
Yeah, I was confused because they invited a couple of councils from Dryden to Finland. to look at
Yeah,
their-
they're in the water system. Well, the water system that goes into
Yeah.
Wabigoon Lake is coming from, it's all part of the same system. That's why they're there. They're downstream.
Dryden, they polluted their own river too.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm like, why shouldn't you be worried about your own pollution, but that's way beyond this. I kind of laughed at myself.
Well,
Okay.
Dryden is gonna benefit more from it than we will here.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, people are right now that all the shopping is gonna take place in Dryden. Anyway, okay, so what is the final plan on that one then?
Maybe let me develop a draft agenda and time frame of what it could look like. I'll bring it to the next meeting. If it passes the vibe check, but if it's,
shouldn't somebody, even before that, shouldn't somebody contact whomever
yeah.
Well, we
and say,
did,
are you interested? in
we
coming
did,
to
we did, and they said, yes, we will come. You just invite us.
I
Okay,
know that when I spoke to the NW, I spoke about coming up to Silco for discussion. They were more than happy to come. And I do have a couple of contacts with Nuclear Free North, who I think who would be willing to come too.
but what is Nuclear Free North gonna do? I mean, it's a fait accompli, right? Now what it is people need
Yeah, that's-
answers.
Yeah,
what's
that's
gonna
just the
happen.
thing, yeah.
I mean, you don't need to make it any more political because it's done,
Yeah.
right?
They'll come anyways. I imagine they'll come
Okay.
anyways if they know about it, yeah.
So,
don't know,
I
it'd
know
be
it's all
interesting.
dead before it happens, so it's.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to invite them, but I don't know.
So what's happening next?
We were just talking about whether we should invite the protest group. We the nuclear free north.
I think that we should extend a hand, so it doesn't seem one-sided, right?
Yeah,
But they wouldn't be on the agenda, would they?
What I was thinking in my head was that give the NDRMO a chance to speak, be like, this is our transportation plan. And then maybe give the floor to the nuclear free north, so they can explain why this is a bad idea, kind of get both sides of the aisle here. So that the people, if you come to it, you are educated for both sides of the issue.
Hmm.
Not to have a debate or anything like that, to just be like, okay, you have one side and the other side, like. Or do you think this is not a good idea?
I don't know, I think about
And
it.
they can ask questions. I think they should be able to come.
It's a done
I don't
deal.
think you give them the floor. They
No.
just are ordinary people asking questions, right?
Yeah,
Because the time has come, it's done. It's a done deal. They've chosen Ignace, so.
although I saw something on CKDR the other day that it looked like it wasn't a done deal. Well, I assumed it was, but yeah, it was.
I don't know.
Okay, do you want me to reach out to the NWMO and just be like, would you be willing to come to Sioux Lookout? Just, we have a paper copy of this. Would you be willing to come to Sioux Lookout for a meeting regarding the transportation of the future nuclear waste to your selected site in Ignace and what we like Ojibwe Nation? Would you be willing to come, yes or no? And then I can bring that paper copy to the next.
And the water issue too, because that will come up.
Water
The
issue.
transportation, I mean, it's the spills that are going to impact the water, right?
Yeah.
Or it could be the fracking, you know.
Yeah, I think that's,
Earthquake stuff.
that's a bit of I'll step out and say, I don't, the idea that you're gonna have a spill from, how they're transporting it, they've done all kinds of testing, and I think that that is not really gonna happen. It's more likely to happen with an earthquake, which is, who knows when that's gonna happen. So I think I'm more concerned about how much greenhouse gas are they gonna expend shipping that stuff all the way to here? Are they gonna have electric trucks, or what are they gonna do? But anyway, getting back to the,
Not for another 10-20 years before they're even gonna be bringing it, so don't worry.
so they'll have electric trucks by then.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, there you go. So that's another issue.
I'm saying,
Just did it.
yeah, the highway twin
it's
button.
gonna be,
Pardon?
The highway twin.
Winning
Yeah,
the,
okay.
put it on the railroad,
Yeah,
put it on the train, east, west, put it on the train.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Every accident.
So, as far as the invitation, I suggest that we just keep it general, saying we would, in order for the residents of Sioux Lookout to be familiar with what is happening in Ignace, we would like you to come and make a presentation.
Yeah.
Then they can cover everything,
Mhm.
and we can ask them. If they don't, we can ask them about these things.
Yep.
But I think saying, we want you to talk about this, we want to talk about that. Let's just say, we want you to come. It's an information sharing session. And at this point, we just want residents to know more about it. Give them an opportunity to question.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's great. And I'll just say, this would be done. This is not connected to the town. This is just a
This is a,
private collection of people who just want you to come.
Just happen to be part of the town.
Yeah.
But so where we
They
will
have to
hold it,
pay for the, well,
we'd have to pay about $600 to rent the Legion.
okay, so
Maybe we could get somebody to donate $600 to it.
no, I think they can,
Spend the cash, so no.
there's.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Don't worry about that.
Okay, find out if they'll cover the cost.
Yeah,
They may not, but we'll see.
okay.
Tell them they'll have the meeting in the new Ignace fire truck that is like an apartment building.
Yes,
Ah.
yeah.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. You could live in there.
We'll have it at the Legion, and while we're there, we're saying that the Legion is struggling to keep this place. It's the only meeting place in town. Maybe you could give us a few bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give us a few bucks and you can do their roof?
All right. Anyway, I think all of this was probably not even part of the environment committee in a sense that we're talking about something that's done privately, so I don't know what you can do with the minutes. As far as that's concerned.
Well, on the minute there, I noted, it looks like that quote from Brian was part of the minutes, but maybe just add that update or something like that. So that it, yeah, was asked after, right?
Minutes would have been from the last meetings.
I'll just add something in new business.
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest that there was discussion about bringing the NWMO to Sioux Lookout, and it was decided that it would be done by private citizens and not the environment committee, and we don't have to have all this other discussion.
Yeah, like I'll MC their event, just whatever, I don't mind doing that.
You don't know what you're in for, buddy.
Yeah, next day cancel.
Okay, good man. All right, so meeting's over at 6:02, something like that. Whatever.
An hour.
How do you like that? 6:02.
No, what I was talking about was up above there, there's a little quote from Brian
Yeah,
above.
we read it.
And
It was in the minutes.
Minutes from last meeting.
In the minutes, yeah.
yeah, I know, but I should have brought this up with the, when we were approving them, but